sometimes I've always worried, like, my voice is too deep, my voice is a limitation to my growth, people will not like my voice, they will not like my face. So many worries I've always had about this channel. So recently I saw a post on Reddit where a girl shared a story of how she was basically bullied on online on a gaming platform for having a man voice, despite her trying to make her fellow gamers to understand that it was a girl they were talking to. These people were adamant that it was a guy until she had to say, certain things. That was when they finally accepted that it was a girl that was talking. Before then, they had already called her gay and so many other names. So people in the comment section of that post were consoling her and giving her recommendations of, what she could do about her man voice. This just reminded me of my daily experience of where people closest to me would constantly remind me that my voice is too deep for a girl.
Your voice is too loud. Some people said, lower your voice. Don't you know your voice is thick?
All I could think of was, it's really hard being a girl with a man voice. Even though I also want to be a girl with a girly voice, I'm constantly reminded of this my insecurity, added to the fact that I have a very thick Nigerian accent, as you can hear from my voice right now. So I know you might think it's all bad, but don't worry, there's a good side to having this insecurity as well. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you, why your voice is thick if you are one that, have a supposed man voice, what you can take away from this your insecurity, and how to use it to your advantage. So first, it is even important for us to establish, why women today speak at a deeper pitch than our mothers and our grandmothers. This is all thanks to like a changing power dynamics between men and women, which was even corroborated by a research done in Australia, where there was a careful selection of girls between the age of 18 to 25 who were now monitored, and it was discovered that over the course of 50 years, women had lowered their pitch by 23 hertz.
Like here to here.
And the conclusion was reached when they compared recordings from 1945 to the ones done in the 1990s. So from the research, I basically found out that there are two main reasons why a woman might develop a deeper voice than another woman. First is obviously like genetics. So women tend to develop a lower pitch as they age, because if you have a thicker or a bigger vocal cord, this would in turn mean that you will have a deeper voice due to the frequency of vibrations to produce a sound. Secondly, like the recent move by women to take up spaces that were predominantly occupied by men has now led us to adopt a deeper tone to help us project the authority and dominance in this our workspace. Hence the need to adapt the pitch of our voices to signal this our perceived social rank. It was when I was in my mid-20s that I started noticing that, okay, I did not sound like your typical girl, the girl with the sweet girly voice. I basically knew that, my voice was deeper than most girls' voice, but then I did not allow it to disturb me because I did not think of it as an issue. But now, fast forward to now that I am working, I have friends, I'm always around my colleagues all the time. I now have this, friends and colleagues telling me that, your voice is very thick, that I should lower my voice. And, whatever advice they could get to give me whenever I spoke, they always made sure to do it. This was when I now became very conscious of my voice. I now started talking less and, only when it was important, because I did not want anybody reminding me of this my insecurity, because I already know it. Like, it was just so disturbing. But what did I end up taking from this experience? After much research into the reason why I had a deeper voice than my fellow girls, I found out that it is not my fault, but like the fault of 1,000 women from USA, Canada, Australia, and so many other countries where women had to toughen up to adapt to the times we are living in, which is basically a man's world. So this just brought me great joy, so it's not only me, I have my fellow compatriots, but instead I'm part of this group of powerful women who are taking the bull by the horn. No wonder I've always believed like, I'm going to be a great woman. All these are just things that, brought me great consolation, knowing this, that it was not just me. After all, another research even shows that, humans, especially those who are willing to impose their will over others, had lower pitch, and as a result, we're able to gather more influence to make decisions on behalf of others. Part of the research, talked about even like, American elections and, their presidents. They found out that, people were more drawn to those who had, lower pitch and, spoke with a deeper voice. That made people to, think of them as someone who would have integrity, even though this was not very true. Like, that you have a deeper voice does not mean you would have like, integrity or you be a good leader. But this basically showed like, we women developing this lower tone or a lower pitch was just, for us to be able to fit into this, man's world. So if you're one of us with a man voice, I want you to think of it this way. My voice is not only thick because of my genetics, but because I was getting prepared to to join a pool of women who will make me a force among my peers. I'm that woman they dream to be, that woman that was years in the making. With having this in mind, whenever you're now reminded of how deep your voice is, maybe by your friends or your colleague or in any interaction you have, think of this feeling you get through the lens of what I've just told you about. This should bring you great comfort. Now, after implementing the tips I just talked about, you will notice that over time you will now start getting more comfortable in your own voice. You become more confident in yourself. You will notice that there's a change in your mindset. Now you have a duty to uphold because you have an important stake in society as that woman that has a prominent role to play and was just genetically getting prepared for it. If I were to take myself as an example now, I've always been a confident person even when my insecurity troubled me. As I started to think of myself as someone whose voice got deeper over time because I had a role to play in society, I found myself feeling better about this my supposed man voice. Even when I had to speak in public places, which I was always scared to do, all I need now is to have the right information to to present. So now my deep voice is no longer at the forefront of my worries. Now I have more important things to think of whenever I want to speak in public places. So this was what just gave me the confidence that I'm getting prepared for something. And it can even be seen in my YouTube channel. Sometimes I've always worried my voice is too deep, my voice is a limitation to my growth. People will not like my voice, they will not like my face. So many worries I've always had about this channel. But now I'm convinced it's just a phase, a starting point to something greater than I can even imagine. The best part of all this is that this experience or this shift I experience is something you too can also experience if you keep in mind the reason why your voice is deep in the first place and follow the tip I just shared with you. So I hope now that I've shared this my insecurity with you, and if you're one that is on this same journey and you've seen how I approached it, I hope you'll be able to apply it as well. I'll see you guys in my next video. Make sure to click that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Bye.